All right, roll call, Tina.
Okay, Burning,
Present.
Koppenbarger,
Present.
Kilber, O'Connor, Peterson,
Present.
Schrock,
Present.
Shaw, and Whiteley.
Present.
Thank you.
Okay, we have a quorum. We are in compliance with Wisconsin open meeting laws and public record laws. And we have a guest. We have a visitor. Hi, Joyce. So we'll now open this up to citizen comments. Are there any citizens present? Seeing none, Joyce will say, am I assuming correct that you're going to be with the Friends?
Yes, I am also a citizen though. So
Do you want to do a comment as a
no,
citizen?
I don't have anything different to say for a citizen, no.
Okay, all right. So we'll close that portion of the agenda. We'll move on to number 4, which is an action item, approval of consent agenda items.
I move to approve consent agenda items.
Okay, we have a motion.
I'll second that motion with the small caveat that there's a correction on one of the financial reports that the technology budget on there's a typo in that line and it says it's $300 and that's not correct. Anyway, but that's more for information than.
Katie, do you accept the amendment to your motion?
I do.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Right.
Any opposed, same sign. Number 4 is approved. Presentations from our friends of the library and Library Foundation. We'll start with you, Joyce, our friends.
Not much to report. Obviously, we can't have our book sale at the end of April. And I'm hoping that we can get some space once the library opens, so we'll see how the things go. Working on our, taking the opportunity, since it's quiet, to work on our bylaws and on our membership letter. That's going to go out, well, as soon as we can get it into the library to fold and distribute, we will do that. So that's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Joyce.
You're welcome.
Barbara, do you have anything for the foundation or Tina, anybody?
The foundation did meet by Zoom. I mean, things again are somewhat in a holding pattern. I am hoping now that the election is over and things are settled with regard to people in new people in positions or whatever the election has settled, that there's an advocacy committee of the foundation that we can be engaged, we can get together and start to consider how we might be an effective advocate, particularly with new people in elected office who are unfamiliar with the library. So, and to continue to foster the support that we've received from the municipalities in the last year. So.
Awesome. Thanks, Barb. All
Anything
right.
else, Tina? There was.
Oh, go ahead.
I think that was it.
I do have one other thing, which is not really a foundation, but if you have anything else to say from the foundation's perspective.
Just that the prom is off. In case anyone was excited about the 80s prom, it is not happening.
I had it on my
Not yet.
Not yet.
The other thing I just wanted to mention that I think falls in this category, the Hudson Home and Garden Club isn't really listed, but it is in many ways a supporter of the library because we have been taking care of the gardens at the library and helping to fund their maintenance and development since the library moved into this building, and actually before that as well. Anyway, there were 7 of us at the library yesterday, all practicing appropriate social distancing as we worked all around the building, and 3 more today. And so if you happen to chance by there, the library, the gardens are ready for spring to arrive. So, or in pretty good shape. There's still some work to be done, and we'll have more work days there. But anyway, one thing that was noted when we were working is that there is some deterioration of the brickwork, particularly on the steps coming up to the library, but grouting or that kind of maintenance work should be attended to. And when people brought it to my attention, I said, well, the library doesn't own the building. We lease space in the building. So I'm not quite sure in these troubled times if anybody'd have the time to pay attention to it. But it's the kind of thing that if you don't take care of it, it gets worse. So
I will let Mike know, the Public Works Director.
Yeah. I think it would be good to draw it to his attention, so it's not something that you would pay a particular note of, but yeah.
Okay, that takes care of number 5. We'll move on to number 6, President's comments, reports, municipal updates. I personally have nothing. St. Joe, do you have anything, Barb?
The last report I sent in electronically, the St. Joe town met by some electronic means. I'm not quite sure, and so I had a couple of other meetings that night. So anyway,
Okay.
It should be interesting that there's a new member on the St. Joe Town Board.
Okay. Town of Hudson is not represented tonight. North Hudson, Tracy.
No update. I need to get connected to their online meetings as well.
Okay. And then
Tracy?
City of Hudson.
Yeah.
Tracy, I might send to you, just for your information, the presentation that I put together and send to the town every month, and it's really build on or take advantage of much of Tina's work to summarize, what's going on. And one of the things that was really good is that, and I'm guessing it's one of the town board members actually was responsible for posting a link to the website, to the new community resource part of the website. And they sent it out as a news flash to everybody in the town that signed up for town news. So I thought that was pretty cool. I'm not really sure who was responsible for it, but I had brought that to their attention through that PowerPoint that I sent over. So anyway.
Oh yeah, that's great.
Yeah, it's easy enough. Yeah.
Yeah, Tina should have my email address if you don't. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Anything from the City of Hudson?
I always send it to Tina. Yeah. I always send it to Tina, and she can just forward it on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Jim, any updates from the city?
Nothing I'm aware of.
Okay. All right, we'll close that portion of the agenda. We'll go to our director's report. Tina, if you'll take it away.
Okay, I sent that out. So if anyone has questions, I would be happy to answer them. And then I have some more updates. Any questions? Okay. So I'm going to actually mention one thing, touching on what Barb was, the posting on the St. Joe website and sending that information out was great. I actually had a church that reached out from Holton to be added to the community resources page. So that was really great.
Super.
So the latest update is we will be implementing curbside service on Monday when the governor's extension came out last Wednesday. It allowed libraries to choose to do curbside service. The guidelines are pretty loose. There's a lot of different opinions on things and a lot of information that varies from who you're getting it from. So I've been trying to rely on DPI mostly to get the information that we need. So we will be starting on Monday. I don't know that all libraries in St. Croix County are planning to do that, but I think we need to be serving our community. We're hearing it on Facebook. We're hearing it from patrons. They really are excited and want to get the library open again. So we are working on that. We will be open for curbside service on Mondays and Tuesdays from 10 to 4 and Thursdays and Fridays from Friday 10 to 4 as well. Thursdays we will do 10 to 6. The reason for that is that we need to quarantine the books that are coming into the book drop. So we'll have the book drops open for those same hours. Then they will be locked, which nobody realized could be done, but it can be done. So that will allow us to do the 24-hour quarantine. And then I have to work on the logistics for staffing because we have to minimize the number of people touching because there has to be a 24-hour quarantine between a staff person checking in the material to if we have a different person shelving it. So I have a lot of logistics to work out to figure out how we're going to be able to do this, which brings me around to staffing updates. You probably saw in the report that we did have to reduce some staff hours. This is not an action item. It's really something just food for thought or opinions. As we go forward, we need to think about staffing and what things look like when we reopen, whenever that will be. I know that there will not, most likely there will not be a big summer reading program. It will probably be done virtually. So staffing wise, hours of the library most likely will be reduced. I would love to hear your thoughts. It's
just off the top of my head, Tina, do you have any personal protection for the staff, for gloves or?
We have gloves. Well, they're not here yet, but I have ordered gloves and we're going to ask staff to, for masks, they'll have to provide their own masks. Shelley is making some. Chris and his family, I know, made masks. My son working at Starbucks has to provide his own mask, so I know, and I just couldn't get a hold of any masks.
I think the gloves are the harder thing, and if they're handling the books,
yeah,
and they have gloves that reduces your likelihood to touch your face or anything like that too, so right. I would think that would help.
So it's a tough, it's probably the part of my job I don't like because I have to think about things. I mean, I just don't think we're going to have the business to keep the same hours. I don't know that we can justify it to the taxpayers. I'm trying to look at everything. I don't want to cut any days out of the week. I would rather have maybe shorter evenings on some of the days where in the past we've been slower. There are evenings where we don't have much traffic.
And I would think
I would
particularly.
Go ahead, Barb.
I was just going to say, I think that with people home, there's a little more flexibility for people than in the past, that they, you know, they couldn't get to the library till the evening. Seems like there's more flexibility, and people can sometimes need a break from their house to run out and you know, to be there, be able to be open during the day. So is the expectation that most people will be searching for materials online and placing orders, and that process will continue into the future?
I think we see a lot of that even non-pandemic times. I think more of our visitors are coming to programs. We're doing those virtually, which actually we've had really great attendance. And I want to give credit to my staff. My programming staff has stepped up, and they are so creative, and the stuff that they are doing, it's like we didn't quit. We didn't stop doing programming, which isn't the case for a lot of our fellow libraries, which really surprised me. It really surprised me, but they are working their normal hours, creating programs. It's more my circulation staff that I'm concerned about. But I don't know how to answer the question, Barb. I really don't know what things are going to look like on the other side of this.
Right. Yeah. It seems to me it's really going to be a day at a time, as you know, as the situation changes, as people come to new accommodation. I don't think, it's a totally new time. So I think it's hard for us to try and anticipate. We can be supportive, but I don't know that we can provide much direction about how best to proceed.
Yeah.
So I wonder though too, like, because libraries already have a system set up where you can put a book on hold and then pick it up, that they're already, pulled and ready to go at that time, or it can come, from other libraries. I would think they'd be able to, that might increase the need for circulation. I think that demand, you're going to learn pretty quickly how much of a demand there is for circulation. Yeah. And I also wondered if some of you have a lot of people with a lot of expertise and literature for kiddos who are desperately seeking, I think, reading materials now too. So even if there was an opportunity for someone to say a collection of materials my child likes, whatever genre it could be, science fiction, or they love spiders, or they're curious about things. Could you guys just pull things that look good rather than seeking a title? And they could submit their card, and it could be checked out to them, and it might be just like a surprise book bag of books, and then that would be using your circulation staff too.
That would. For right now, one of the issues is that we need to minimize the number of staff that are in the building. That was part of the governor's order, which actually said one person per room, but I think we have a pretty big space. I think it'll be okay. But we are limiting it to 5 or less at any given time. Once we start to reopen, and I think those will be baby steps too, I think the hours will be shortened. But that's a great idea, Katie. It's actually something that we did do in Delano. We had a order form for teachers, so preschool teachers in the area. And something I've wanted to do, homeschoolers used it. We would just pull items on the topics they were looking for, and it was a great tool. We could use the library assistants to do that. And technically it would be other duties.
Yeah, and I think it's just going to see, once you see when the curbside's available, how much that pulls, how much of a demand there is for it. And if it fills everybody's time, it does. If it's down low, maybe to offer something different to see if you can get people interested in it. We just want the books out in the community if possible, right? And promote that.
Yep.
So I would think that we've talked about circulation being down because of the strong economy. Well, that's not the case today.
No.
And so it's not only the pent-up demand from people being isolated, but I think the economic challenges that many people are facing may encourage them to say, oh, we'll go to the library to get our books. We're not going to.
And that's absolutely going to be true. And I think once we can have groups again, we can have people coming to programs, I think we are going to see an increase in numbers and demand.
Yeah.
Because our communities are going to be hurting economically.
Right. Yeah.
So you say, Tina, that you've reduced staff hours by 50%?
The circulation library assistants their hours have been reduced by 50%. Right now, they are answering virtual chat. They are handling virtual chat sessions and doing core competency training. Bless you. So that's what they are doing right now, and that is just filling their time. I mean, that's making sure that they have enough to do for that 50%.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have enough for them to do for the other 50%. And then it becomes a perception issue. It's like a catch-22.
But then when you're able to do curbside, would they be involved in that activity as well?
That's one of the things, and I was telling Joyce this before the meeting, with the logistics, I really have to figure out the logistics, keeping that 5 or less employees, maintaining the distancing. I don't know how many staff we're going to need. That's what my next project is tomorrow morning. I'm not going to do it tonight, but tomorrow that's what I'll be working on, is plugging those staff in where I can and seeing what we need, what the needs are.
All right. Anything else, Tina?
That's it.
Okay. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Before we do that, I just wanted to add a positive comment. The publicity in the most recent couple of Star Observers has been incredibly marvelous. The article about Chris and all of his references to the library. So I think we should applaud.
Thank you. That was on my things that I wanted to mention. If you haven't seen the article on Chris, and the Star Observer is really working with us. It just didn't work to incorporate. It wasn't working with all the libraries taking a turn at having an article.
Right.
And Shelley's been handling most of that, and I think she's doing a great job. And I know she may reach out to some of you to see if you would be willing to do interviews about the library, because I know she's doing really great with promoting us.
Right. So anyway.
And the YouTube channel that's just so amazing too. Yeah, the programming is just really well done, Tina. Very impressive.
They are doing a great job. I am really proud of everything we've done in a short amount of time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right. Well done.
So with that, I will move to adjourn.
Jim's trying to say something.
Oh, he's on mute. He's got his phone muted, I think.
There we go.
There you go, Jim.
Yeah, Tina, just to add to the confidence building, that you're taking information as you get it, making decisions based on that, and that's all you can do. And I think that's absolutely 100% the right way. As information is presented, you will make a decision on it. So thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome.
All right, then I will move to adjourn.
Thank you, Katie.
Second.
We have a motion to adjourn in a second. All those in favor?
I
Any
Aye.
opposed, same sign? With that, we stand adjourned. Thank you, everybody.